The champagne bubbles tickle my nose as I study my reflection, wondering if brides are supposed to feel this happy or if I'm just being ridiculous. My hands shake slightly as I adjust the delicate lace veil, careful not to disturb the intricate updo that took Maria 2 hours to perfect. "Stop fidgeting, Lorelai," Marley says, batting my hands away. "You look perfect. Lee won't know what hit him." I catch her eye in the mirror and we both burst into giddy laughter. The bridal suite buzzes with activity. My mom fussing with flower arrangements, bridesmaids touching up lipstick, the photographer snapping candids. Everything feels surreal, like I'm floating through the best dream of my life. My phone buzzes on the vanity. Probably another well-wisher, but I check anyway. A Facebook notification. My stomach drops when I see it's a live video from Sloane. That's weird. She should be here helping me get ready. She's my maid of honor, after all. I tap play without thinking. The video is shaky at first, then stabilizes on, no. No. My brain refuses to process what I'm seeing. Lee's face, flushed and intense. Sloane's voice, breathy and intimate. "Tell me you love me. Tell me I'm the only one." "You know you are, baby." His voice is thick with desire. "It's always been you." The phone slips from my numb fingers, clattering on the marble floor. Someone asks if I'm okay. I can't breathe. The room spins as fragments of reality crash through my denial. Sloane's constant texts with Lee about wedding details. The way they'd both get quiet when I entered a room. All those late nights at the office they'd claim to be working. "Lorelai?" Marley's concerned face swims into view. "What's wrong?" I force myself to pick up the phone, to turn it so they can see. The video continues, brutal in its clarity. Lee and Sloane tangled together on rumpled sheets. Sheets I recognize from our bed. Her dark hair spilling across our pillows. His hands tracing paths on her skin that should have been meant for me. Oh my God. Marley's hand flies to her mouth. How long? "It's live," I whisper. The timestamp confirms it, streaming right now, less than an hour before I'm supposed to walk down the aisle. My best friend and my fiancé, broadcasting their betrayal to the world on my wedding day. The room erupts in chaos. My mom is crying. Someone's calling the wedding planner. I hear fragments of panicked conversation. Guests are already arriving. Can't reach Lee's phone. Need to make an announcement, but I'm frozen, watching the feed with horrible fascination as Sloane turns to face the camera directly. Her perfect red lips curve into a smile I've never seen before. Triumphant. Cruel. "Sorry, Lo. Guess you'll need to find a new maid of honor. And a new fiancé." The video ends. In the sudden silence, my reflection catches my eye again. I barely recognize myself. This shell-shocked woman in white lace, mascara starting to streak down her cheeks. Everything I thought I knew about love, friendship, trust. It's all unraveling like loose threads from my carefully constructed life. My phone buzzes again. A text from Lee. I can explain. A laugh bubbles up in my throat, high and slightly hysterical. 3 words. That's all he has to say? After 6 years together, after everything we built, after I gave him my whole heart, he thinks he can explain? "What do you want to do?" Marley asks softly, squeezing my shoulder. I meet my own eyes in the mirror again. Something shifts in my chest, the initial shock crystallizing into something harder, colder. They thought they could humiliate me like this? That I'd just cry and fall apart while they rode off into their happily ever after? I grab a tissue, carefully blot my tears, and reapply my lipstick with steady hands. "First, I want you to help me out of this dress." My voice sounds strange to my own ears, calm, almost detached. "Then I want you to tell me everything you know about them. Every detail, every suspicion you might have had but didn't want to tell me." And then, I smile at my reflection, but it's not the joyful smile of a bride anymore. It's something sharper, dangerous. Then we're going to make them wish they'd never met me. The diamond on my finger catches the light as I reach for my phone. 300 guests are waiting downstairs, expecting a fairy tale wedding. Instead, they're about to witness the beginning of something very different. I start typing. I'm sorry to inform you that today's wedding has been canceled. The worst part isn't the pitying looks or the whispered conversations that stop when I enter a room. It's the endless stream of notifications, each one a fresh reminder of how spectacularly my life imploded. I've been staring at my phone for hours, watching the view count on Sloane's video climb higher and higher. You need to eat something, Marley says, sliding a plate of toast across my kitchen counter. I've been camping out at her place since yesterday, since the non-wedding. The thought of returning to the apartment Lee and I shared makes me physically ill. I need to understand why. My voice is hoarse from crying. 6 years, Marley. 6 years and he throws it away for her? She hesitates, stirring her coffee. There's something you should know. I didn't want to tell you when you were already so upset, but... My phone buzzes. Another text from Lee. Please let me explain. It's not what you think. Block him, Marley snaps. Block them both. Wait. Something in the video preview catches my eye. I scroll back through Sloane's feed, my hands shaking. Look at this. The timestamp on their first photo together, 6 months ago at that charity gala. The one you couldn't attend because of your mom's surgery? Exactly. I zoom in on the background. But look where they are. That's the Meridian Hotel's penthouse suite, the one that costs $5,000 a night. Marley frowns. How could Lee afford that on his salary? He couldn't. The pieces start clicking together. Unless I pull up the browser on my laptop, fingers flying across the keys. Lee's investment firm's website loads, showing his smiling face under Senior Portfolio Manager. I scan through client testimonials until I find what I'm looking for. Here. I turn the screen toward Marley. 3 months ago, the SEC launched an investigation into suspicious trading patterns. No charges filed, but several client accounts showed unusual activity. You think Lee was... I think he was stealing. The words taste bitter. And I think Sloane knew. She's been handling PR for his firm since last spring. My phone rings, an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answer. Ms. Harrison? A man's voice, professional but tense. This is Percy Johnston with the Financial Crimes Unit. We need to speak with you regarding Lee Mitchell's activities at Beacon Investment Partners. My stomach lurches. I don't know anything about... Several large transfers were made from joint accounts you shared with Mr. Mitchell. Given the timing and nature of these transactions, we need to establish your level of involvement. The room spins. Joint accounts? We only had one, for wedding expenses. Unless... I'll have to call you back. I manage, ending the call. Marley watches me pull up our online banking. My hands are trembling so badly I mistyped the password twice. When the accounts finally load, I feel like I'm going to be sick. He emptied everything. I whisper. The wedding fund, our savings, even my personal account. How did he get access to... The power of attorney, Marley says quietly. The one you signed last month for the house purchase. The house, our dream home, the one we'd spent weekends touring, planning where to put the nursery. All a lie, just like everything else. My phone buzzes again. A text from Summer, Sloane's former roommate. Check your email. There's something you need to see. The email loads slowly, revealing dozens of forwarded messages between Lee and Sloane. My eyes catch on phrases that make my blood run cold. Transfer the funds before anyone notices. Keep Lorelei distracted. Once we're in the Caymans. They were planning this, I say, my voice strange and flat. The wedding, the video, all of it. It was just a distraction while they cleaned out the accounts. Marley reaches for my hand. We need to call the police. No. Something shifts inside me, like a switch being flipped. Not yet. Lorelei. They thought they were so clever. I scroll through the emails, my mind racing. But they made one mistake. They assumed I was just the clueless fiancé, too love-struck to see what was happening. I open my laptop again, this time logging into my work email. As the firm's compliance officer, I have access to every transaction Lee ever made. every client he contacted, every document he thought he'd deleted. "What are you going to do?" Marley asks. I think about the look on Sloane's face in that video. So smug, so certain of her victory. About Lee's pathetic, let me explain texts while he drained our accounts. I'm going to show them exactly how clueless I'm not. I start copying files to a secure drive. And when I'm done, they're going to wish they'd never underestimated me. My phone buzzes one more time. Another text from Summer. There's more. Meet me tonight. Come alone. The coffee shop is nearly empty at this hour, just a few students hunched over laptops. I spot Summer in the back corner, her fingers drumming nervously on a manila envelope. She looks different from the last time I saw her. Thinner, shadows under her eyes that makeup can't quite hide. "I wasn't sure you'd come," she says as I slide into the booth. Almost didn't. I keep my voice neutral. "Considering the last time we talked, you were defending Sloane." She winces. "I was wrong. About a lot of things." She pushes the envelope across the table, including what really happened the night she moved out of our apartment. Inside are bank statements, text messages, photos, a paper trail of betrayal going back further than I'd imagined. My hands start shaking when I see the dates. A year? My voice cracks. They've been... While he was proposing to me? Lorelai, it's worse than that. Summer leans forward, lowering her voice. Sloane wasn't just sleeping with Lee. She was helping him move money through shell companies. I found records. The bell above the door chimes. Summer goes rigid, her face draining of color. I turn to see Marley walking in, her expression thunderous. "What is she doing here?" Summer hisses. "I told you to come alone." I followed her. Marley says, sliding into the booth next to me. "Because the last person who asked to meet Lorelai alone turned out to be working with Lee." My heart stops. "What?" "Tell her," Marley demands, glaring at Summer. "Tell her about the text you sent Lee yesterday." Summer's face crumples. "I had to. They have things on me, dirt from when I worked at the firm. If I didn't warn them you were gathering evidence..." I feel like I'm drowning. "So this meeting, these documents, it's all a setup?" "Not exactly." Summer pulls out her phone, hands trembling. "Yes, they asked me to distract you, but they don't know about these." She pulls up a video, security footage from what looks like an office hallway. I kept copies of everything, including the night Lee and Sloane first discussed how to frame you for the missing client funds. My breath catches. On the screen, Lee paces while Sloane perches on a desk, both illuminated by late-night fluorescence. "It's perfect," Sloane says in the video. "The power of attorney gives us access to everything. Once the SEC starts investigating, all signs will point to Lorelai making the transfers." "And the wedding?" Lee asks. "The ultimate alibi. Who would suspect a man of stealing from his own bride?" Sloane's laugh makes my skin crawl. "By the time anyone figures it out, we'll be gone and she'll be facing federal charges." The video ends. I feel Marley's hand gripping mine under the table. "Why are you showing me this?" I ask Summer. "Why switch sides now?" "Because I found out what they did to my sister." Summer's voice hardens. 3 years ago, she invested her entire inheritance with Lee. When she started asking questions about missing funds, Sloane orchestrated a smear campaign that destroyed her career. She lost everything. My mind races. "The documents you brought, they prove this?" She nods. "Bank records, emails, everything. But we have to move fast. They're planning to leave the country tomorrow night." "How do you know that?" "Because they asked me to book their flights." Summer's smile is bitter. "First class to Grand Cayman, departing at 11 p.m. They think I'm still their loyal puppet." Marley leans forward. "We should take this to the police." "No." The word comes out sharp, surprising even me. "Not yet. They want to frame me? Fine, let them think it's working." "Lorelai, I need your help," I tell Summer. "Both of you. But first, I need to know I can trust you." I meet Summer's eyes. "Really trust you." She pulls out another phone. An old flip model. Burner phone. I've been recording every conversation with them for weeks, including one where they discussed which evidence to plant in your home office. My home office, where I keep all my compliance files, where Lee has a key. They're probably there right now, I say, standing abruptly. We need to go, but first, I take out my own phone, pulling up the SEC's tip line. A little insurance policy. I type quickly, potential fraud at Beacon Investments, evidence of embezzlement and client theft, whistleblower willing to cooperate. What are you doing? Marley asks, making sure they can't bury this even if they destroy the evidence. I hit send, then look at Summer. You said they're planning to frame me? Let's see how their plan holds up when I'm the one who reported them first. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Smart move, Lorelei. But you're not the only one who can play this game. Check your email. X. The email loads while we're in Marley's car, racing toward my apartment. My hands go numb as I read it. You don't know the whole story. The message begins. Lee and Sloan aren't working alone. Meet me at the Riverside Park gazebo in 30 minutes if you want to know who's really pulling the strings. Xander. It's a trap, Marley says, taking a sharp turn. Has to be. Wait. I grab her arm. Xander, he was Lee's old partner at Beacon before he quit last year. Lee said he had a breakdown, but what if he didn't? Summer leans forward from the back seat. What if he discovered something? I check the time. 25 minutes until the meeting. 10 minutes to my apartment. The choice tears at me. Check the office or meet Xander. Split up, I decide. Marley, take Summer to my place. Check the office, but don't touch anything. Just document whatever they've planted. I'll meet Xander. Alone? After what happened with Summer? He's taking a huge risk contacting me. I pull up his resignation letter on my phone. Look at the date. He quit right after the first suspicious transfer started. He must know something. Marley pulls over, her face tight with worry. Fine. But you text me every 5 minutes, and at the first sign of trouble, I run. I squeeze her hand. I promise. The park is deserted when I arrive, streetlights casting long shadows across wet grass. The gazebo looks ghostly in the darkness, and for a moment I think I've been stood up. Then a figure emerges from the shadows. Careful, Xander says softly. We're being watched. He looks nothing like the polished executive I remember. His clothes are rumpled, his eyes haunted. But there's something else. A fierce intensity that makes me believe him. Who's watching? Percy Johnston, SEC investigator. Xander's laugh is bitter. At least that's what he claims to be. My stomach drops. What do you mean? The real Percy Johnston died 6 months ago. Whoever called you is working with them. He hands me a file. These are the real SEC reports. Notice anything missing? I scan the documents, my heart pounding. There's no official investigation. The whole thing is fake, just like the evidence they're planting in your office right now. He checks his phone. Which is why we need to move fast. Why are you helping me? His expression darkens. Because they destroyed my life too. When I found out what they were doing with client funds, Lee and Sloan didn't just force me out. They manufactured a mental health crisis, had me committed. By the time I got out, my reputation was ruined. But you kept proof. Better. He pulls out a USB drive. I kept their playbook. Every scam, every frame job, every shell company, including the one they're using to set you up. My phone buzzes. Marley. Office clear, but weird. Everything's too normal. Like someone went through and cleaned. They're covering their tracks, Xander says, reading over my shoulder. Next they'll... A twig snaps behind us. We both freeze. Ms. Harrison? A familiar voice calls out. This is Percy Johnston. We need to talk. Xander grabs my arm. Back door. Now. We slip out the gazebo's rear entrance as footsteps approach. My heart pounds as we crouch behind a hedge. Think carefully about who you trust. The fake Percy calls out. Your friend Xander isn't telling you everything. I turn to Xander, who's typing frantically on his phone. What's he talking about? No time? He sends the message, then hands me the USB drive. Everything you need is here, but don't use it yet. Wait for my signal. What signal? Xander. Tomorrow night, when they try to leave. He grips my shoulders. Promise me you won't move before then. No matter what you hear, what evidence shows up, it has to be tomorrow night. Flashlight beams sweep the garden. Xander pushes me toward the park exit. Go, I'll distract them. I run, his words echoing in my head. My phone buzzes again. Summer this time. Found something in your office trash. Shredded documents, some pieces mention offshore accounts in your name. Another text follows immediately. Lorelei, what do you know about Cayman First Securities? My blood runs cold. That's the company name on the USB drive Xander just gave me. I stare at the drive in my shaking hand, doubt creeping in. Who's really playing who? And what happens tomorrow night that's so important? A final text comes through. This one from an unknown number. Tick-tock, Lorelei. Better decide who you trust before time runs out. For all of us. I spend the night piecing together shredded documents on Marley's living room floor, my fingers stained with ink and my mind racing. The fragments tell a story I'm not sure I want to understand. This can't be right. I mutter, arranging another strip of paper. These transfers, they're from 3 years ago. Marley looks up from her laptop. Before you even met Lee? Before he joined Beacon Investments. I hold up 2 matching pieces, but the account number matches the one Xander showed me. Summer paces behind us, phone pressed to her ear. Still no answer from Xander. His phone's going straight to voicemail. My hands shake as I line up another fragment. The letterhead slowly comes into focus. Cayman First Securities. Client name, Lorelei Harrison. Someone opened accounts in my name. My voice sounds distant, strange. Years before Lee and I met, like they chose me. That's impossible. Marley starts, but her phone interrupts with a text. Her face goes pale. Lorelei, you need to see this. It's a video message from Sloan. She's sitting in what looks like a hotel room, wearing the same smug smile from the wedding day video. But there's something different in her eyes now. Fear? By now you've probably figured out some of it, she says. But you're asking the wrong questions. Don't ask who opened those accounts. Ask who told Lee to pursue you in the first place. Ask who suggested hiring you as compliance officer. Ask yourself why. The video cuts off abruptly. Seconds later, my phone rings, an unknown number. Don't answer it, Summer warns. But I'm already hitting accept. Hello? Ms. Harrison. The fake Percy's voice is smooth, professional. I believe it's time we met in person. Bring the USB drive Xander gave you. The real question, he continues, is whether you want to be a victim or an accomplice. Your choice, but choose quickly. The line goes dead. My phone immediately pings with an address. It's a setup, Marley insists. You can't go. Look at this. Summer holds up another reconstructed document. These signature cards. Lorelei, this is your handwriting. Perfect matches from 3 years ago. That's not possible. But even as I say it, memories surface. Job interviews I don't quite remember clearly. Chance meetings that seem scripted in retrospect. Unless, my phone buzzes again. A photo from Lee. Me, 3 years ago at a coffee shop. In the background, barely visible, is Xander. The caption reads, "Still trust him?" I need to know. I stand up, grabbing my coat. All of it, even if what? Marley blocks my path. Even if it gets you killed? They're not just thieves, Lorelei. These people are dangerous. They made me fall in love with a lie. My voice breaks. They stole years of my life. I need to know why. Then we go together, Summer says. I'll drive. The address leads us to an abandoned office building. As we pull up, my phone lights up with a call from Xander. "Don't go in," he says without preamble. "It's not what you think. The whole thing, Lee, Sloan, the accounts, it's bigger than—" A gunshot cracks through the phone line. Then silence. "Xander?" My hands are shaking so badly I nearly drop the phone. "Xander?" A new voice comes on the line. Sloane's. "Time's up, Lo. Front door's open. Come alone or Xander won't be the only casualty." I'm out of the car before Marley can grab me. "Call the real police," I tell them. "The actual SEC. Anyone, just give me 15 minutes. Lorelai, wait." But I'm already running toward the building, the USB drive heavy in my pocket. The front door creaks open at my touch. Emergency lights cast a sickly glow through empty halls. "Hello?" My voice echoes. "I'm here. I brought what you wanted." "Third floor." Sloane's voice floats down the stairwell. "Better hurry." I take the stairs 2 at a time, adrenaline drowning out fear. At the 3rd floor landing, I pause. Light spills from under an office door. My phone buzzes one last time. A text from Lee. "I'm sorry, I never meant for it to go this far. Whatever happens next, remember I did love you. In my way." The office door swings open before I can respond. Sloane stands in the doorway, but she's not alone. Behind her, a familiar figure steps into the light. "Hello, Lorelai," says the real Percy Johnston. "We've been waiting a very long time for this moment." And suddenly I understand. This was never about the money. It was about something much, much worse. The real Percy Johnston looks exactly like his ID photo, the one Xander showed me of the supposedly dead investigator. My mind spins, trying to make sense of it all. Confused? Sloane's smirk doesn't quite hide her nervousness. "You should see your face right now." "The USB drive," Percy says, holding out his hand. "Please." I clutch it tighter. "Where's Xander?" "Safe, for now." He steps closer, though that could change depending on your cooperation. The office is bare except for a laptop on a desk. On its screen, security camera feeds show the building's entrance. I spot Marley and Summer in their car, phones to their ears. "Your friends won't reach anyone," Percy says. "All calls from this area are being redirected." "Why me?" The question bursts out. "All this elaborate setup, years of planning, why?" "Because you were perfect." Sloane's voice turns bitter. "The ideal mark. Smart enough to get the compliance position, naive enough to trust Lee, and just ambitious enough to ignore red flags." "We needed someone above suspicion," Percy adds. "Someone whose signature on those accounts would withstand scrutiny. The perfect scapegoat when the investigation finally launched." My throat tightens. Investigation into what? "Oh, honey." Sloane laughs. "You really think this was about stealing from investment accounts? Look at the USB drive you're holding. Really look at it." I pull it out. In the harsh fluorescent light, I notice something I missed before. Tiny letters etched on the side. Project Oracle. Percy's expression hardens. "That drive contains evidence of a money laundering operation spanning 5 continents. Billions in criminal funds, cleaned through seemingly legitimate investment firms. Your signature is on every key document." "I never signed." "Yes, you did. Every time you approved a compliance report. Every time you signed off on a transfer. All carefully designed to implicate you while keeping the real operation hidden." My hands shake. "And Lee? Played his part perfectly." Sloane's smile falters slightly. "Though he did make one mistake." "He fell in love with you," Percy says. "Started having doubts. That's why we needed to accelerate the timeline." The wedding, the video, the public humiliation, all orchestrated to discredit me before I could discover the truth. A noise from the hallway makes us all turn. Footsteps. "Right on time," Percy says. The door opens. Lee walks in, looking haunted. When he sees me, his face crumples. "I'm sorry," he whispers. "They have my sister." "Enough talking." Percy pulls out a gun. The drive, Lorelei. Now. Time seems to slow. I look at Lee, seeing him clearly for the first time. Not the man I loved, but a trapped animal willing to sacrifice anyone to save himself. At Sloane, whose fear now outweighs her arrogance. At Percy, whose professional mask can't quite hide his desperation. They're all terrified. But of what? My phone vibrates in my pocket. A pattern I recognize. Marley's signal. You know what I don't understand? I say, stepping toward the laptop. If you're so smart, how did you miss the obvious? Percy's gun follows me. Don't move. You chose me because I was naive, trusting, easy to manipulate. Another step. But you forgot something crucial. Last warning, Percy growls. I smile, feeling strangely calm. You forgot to check who my best friend works for. The window explodes inward as a SWAT team rappels into the room. Percy spins, but it's too late. The gun flies from his hand as officers tackle him. FBI, everyone down! Sloane screams. Lee drops to his knees. And through the chaos, Marley walks in, holding up her badge. Federal agent, she says. 5 years undercover tracking Project Oracle. Thanks for finally leading us to the top. My legs give out. Marley catches me before I hit the floor. The whole time? I whisper. You knew? Not everything. She squeezes my hand. But enough to know you needed protection. Why do you think I pushed so hard to be your maid of honor instead of Sloane? As handcuffs click around Percy's wrists, my phone buzzes one final time. A message from Xander. Safe. Signal received. Check the hidden partition on the drive. You're not going to believe what else they were hiding. I look at the USB drive still clutched in my hand, then at Lee being led away in cuffs. At Sloane's mascara-streaked face as she's read her rights. At Percy, whose mask has finally cracked to reveal pure fury. Ready to end this? Marley asks. I think of all the lies, all the manipulation, all the carefully orchestrated betrayals. Of the life I thought I was building, now revealed as an elaborate trap. No, I say, gripping the drive tighter. First, I want to know exactly what's on this thing. Then we end it, on my terms. The hidden partition on the drive contains thousands of files, but one folder catches my eye immediately. Contingency. Inside is a video file dated tomorrow, the day Lee and Sloane plan to flee. Play it, Marley says. We're in a secure FBI office, surrounded by evidence boards and coffee cups. Dawn light filters through bulletproof windows. The video starts. It's Percy, sitting at a desk much like this one. If you're watching this, he says, something's gone wrong. But don't think you've won. Project Oracle isn't just about money laundering. The real operation begins at midnight tonight, with or without us. My hands clench. What operation? More files reveal the truth. Project Oracle isn't just cleaning criminal money. It's using that money to buy judges, politicians, regulators, creating an invisible network of corruption. The transfers are scheduled to start automatically. Xander says, pointing to a timeline. He joined us an hour ago, sporting a bandaged arm and fierce determination. Once they do, the whole system becomes self-sustaining. Untouchable. Unless we stop it. Marley pulls up bank records. But we need authentication from someone with executive access. Lee, I whisper. He's not talking. Marley looks grim. None of them are. They're more scared of their bosses than prison. I stare at Lee's booking photo on the evidence board. The man I thought I knew. The life I thought we'd have. Let me talk to him. Lorelei, I know him. My voice stays steady. I know his tells, his weaknesses, and he knows what I'm capable of now. 20 minutes later, I'm sitting across from Lee in an interview room. He looks smaller somehow, defeated. They'll kill my sister, he says before I can speak. No, they won't. I slide over my phone, showing him a photo. Because she's already safe. FBI extracted her an hour ago. His face crumples. How did you... Because unlike you, I actually care about protecting the people I love. The words taste like ashes. Now tell me how to stop the transfers. You don't understand what they'll do. I understand exactly what they'll do. I lean forward. Because I found the other contingency files, Lee. The ones showing what happens to loose ends when operations like this go wrong. He flinches. Help us, I say softly. Or watch everything burn. Your choice. His hands shake as he reaches for a pen. The next hours blur into a frenzy of activity. Codes entered, accounts frozen, dominoes carefully arranged. By nightfall, we're gathered in a command center, watching screens full of transaction data. 1 minute to midnight, Marley announces. I think of Percy's smug face, of Sloane's cruel smile, of all the careful lies designed to break me. But mostly I think of that morning in the bridal suite, watching my world shatter on a phone screen. 30 seconds. Xander grips my shoulder. Summer holds my hand. Marley counts down. Now. I press enter. For a moment, nothing happens. Then accounts start freezing, one after another. Transactions fail. Safety protocols trigger. The invisible empire begins to crumble. It's working. Xander breathes. My phone buzzes. A message from an unknown number. You have no idea what you've done. Another follows. This isn't over. Actually, I type back. It is. I think of all the moments that led here. The proposal I once thought was perfect. The friendship I believed was unshakable. The future I planned so carefully. Multiple arrests in progress. Someone calls out. London, Singapore, Dubai. Lorelei. Marley's voice is gentle. We got them. The screens fill with confirmation after confirmation. Project Oracle, the scheme that stole years of my life, dissolves into frozen accounts and arrest warrants. My phone buzzes one last time. A video call from Sloane. I answer. She's in her cell, all pretense gone. How does it feel? She asks. Destroying everything we built? You didn't build anything. My voice is calm, certain. You just stole and lied and hurt people, and now everyone knows exactly who you are. We're not so different, she tries. You could have... I end the call. Around me, agents celebrate as reports flood in. Summer hugs me, crying. Xander starts explaining the scope of what we've uncovered. Marley squeezes my hand. But I'm looking at my reflection in the darkened window. At the woman who emerged from the ashes of that wedding day. The one who turned betrayal into justice, heartbreak into strength. You okay? Marley asks softly. I smile. Not the broken smile from the bridal suite, but something fiercer, more real. I am now. The morning sun streams through my office window as I pack the last of my personal items. Not running away this time, moving forward. The cardboard box holds carefully chosen pieces of my past. Photos of real friendships, mementos of genuine victories. My phone buzzes. A news alert. Project Oracle mastermind found dead in prison cell. Percy's face stares up from the screen. Suicide, they're saying. But the message that follows suggests otherwise. Still think it's over? The unknown number again. I don't respond. Instead, I open my laptop and type in the encryption key Xander helped me create. One last piece of insurance. Everything I discovered about Project Oracle's true reach, set to automatically release if anything happens to me. A knock at my door. Ready? Marley asks. Almost. I glance at my now empty compliance officer desk. Hard to believe this was all a setup from the beginning. Not everything. She perches on the edge of my desk. They chose you because you were good at your job. Too good, as it turned out. I pick up a framed photo. Me and Sloane at her birthday last year. The glass is cracked, but I keep it as a reminder. You know what's strange? I actually feel sorry for her. Why? Because she'll never know what real friendship feels like. I drop the photo in the trash. Or real love. Everything's just transactions to her. My phone buzzes again. Summer. You need to see this. She's forwarded an email chain, messages between Lee and Sloan from the day before our wedding. My hands shake as I read. I can't go through with it, Lee wrote. We need to tell her the truth. Sloan's response. You know what happens if you back out. To both of you. They threatened you too, I realize. That's why you looked so scared in the video. The last email is from Lee to Percy. I'm done. After tomorrow's ceremony, I'm telling Lorelai everything. Whatever happens, happens. He was going to confess, Marley says softly. That's why they had to move up the timeline. A bitter laugh escapes me. Is that supposed to make it better? No, but maybe it helps explain why he cooperated so quickly in the end. I think about Lee in that interview room, giving up everything to save his sister. About Sloane's mask finally cracking. About Percy's desperate final gambit. They were all trapped in their own lies, I say, just like I was. Another knock. Xander enters, looking more like his old self in a crisp suit. Security footage from Percy's cell just leaked. It wasn't suicide. I know. I show him the threatening text. They're trying to scare us into silence. Are you scared? Marley asks. I consider the question, remembering that moment in the bridal suite when my world first cracked open. The devastation, the betrayal, the helplessness. No, I realize. Not anymore. My phone rings, an unknown number, but this time I know exactly who it is. Hello, Marcus, I say, naming the one person who never appeared in any document, any video, any trail. Project Oracle's true architect. Silence then. Impressive. How did you know? Because Percy's dead, Sloane's in custody, and Lee's cooperating. But someone's still pulling strings. Someone who's been watching me since before I even met Lee. Clever girl. His voice is smooth, amused. We could use someone like you. That's your pitch? After everything? Consider it a promotion. Your skills, my resources. Here's my counteroffer. I hit send on my laptop. Check your inbox. A pause. Then, what did you do? Released everything. Every account, every connection, every secret player. It's all public now. My voice stays steady. You can't threaten what's already exposed. The line goes dead. Marley's phone immediately lights up with alerts. Xander grabs his laptop, watching the information cascade across social media, news sites, federal channels. It's really over, Summer whispers from the doorway. I pick up my box of carefully chosen memories, looking around the office one last time. Not at what was taken from me, but at what I've reclaimed. No, I say, thinking of all the people like me out there, trapped in beautiful lies. It's just beginning. I walk out into the sunlight, leaving the broken pieces of my old life behind. Ahead lies something better than revenge, better than justice, the truth. And this time, it's mine to tell.